Matt Day here with Parsons Graham and Day. I want to take just a moment to talk about false allegations of child abuse. It's tough because essentially the person who's accused has to come in and prove a negative, which can be incredibly difficult. Not impossible, but incredibly difficult. People frequently say it's impossible, but it's not technically impossible. It's just very, very difficult to prove a negative. Let's take an example of child sexual abuse. There's virtually no time that a sane nurse, someone who's a sexual abuse nurse, is going to look at it and say it absolutely didn't happen, right? Typically, the report will say inconclusive, cannot determine, right? Things of that nature, leaving it open-ended. How could you prove that you didn't? Well, on May 10th, Jim raped me, right? And then Jim comes in and says, that's interesting because here's a picture of me in the Bahamas on May 10th. Well, you're here in Oklahoma saying that I was raping you, right? So we've therefore proved that it didn't happen. What happens in those cases where the false allegation finding is made? The court says, no, this is a false allegation. A couple of different things can happen. Number one, big one, is that the court can change the custody situation, right? And this does happen from time to time, where the court will say, hey, you've made this false allegation, we've got to shift the kid or kids over to the other parent who's been falsely accused, right? Number two, you're subject to potentially attorney fees for false or frivolous allegations, right? In which case you're going to have to start paying fees for the person that you've wrongfully accused, all right? Number three is obviously your credibility is just pretty wiped out if the court finds that you've made a false allegation. It can result in findings against the person who's made the false allegation of a type of child abuse or neglect, right? You've been coaching them, you've been alienating them. Courts are taking those things more and more seriously as time goes on. So a lot of negative consequences can attach to a false allegation of child abuse. And again, you got to get to the point where the court's making the false allegation finding. The court finds that the allegation was false. For more information, visit our website, www.pdtulsalaw.com. And if you need assistance in a case like this, do not hesitate to give us a call, 918-307-1529. Do not try to represent yourself. Contact an attorney and get representation. The purpose of this video is to be informative and not to provide legal advice. For legal advice, call a law firm and speak to an attorney about your particular case. None of the information provided in here is meant to establish the attorney-client relationship between Parsons Graham and Day and anyone watching this video.